How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis, and we've got a new developer blog from the old school RuneScape team all about raid rewards, and this is the second raid reward developer blog. In the first raid reward developer blog, they received a whole lot of feedback, and they have adjusted all the rewards they have thought of currently. So let's start off with the Elder Weapons. The old school RuneScape team have released a video on these Elder Weapons. It's incredibly detailed, and it goes through everything such as their requirements and their stats, as well as places you might use them. The two Elder Weapons are the Elder Maul and the Elder Wand. The Elder Maul will be slightly better in strength bonus and crush bonus than an Abyssal Bludgeon, however it will be slightly slower, at the rate of a God Sword. Plenty of people have compared it to a Chaos Maul from RuneScape 3, however it's significantly lower powered, but it's still quite high tier. So I think plenty of people would like to get this weapon, however what's interesting about it is it doesn't have a special attack, which is something that a lot of high tier weapons tend to have, and people love to use it in combat, such as, for example, maybe an Abyssal Bludgeon special attack. They just use it as a big KO. I think this will be a very interesting weapon, especially if they implement it and it's used in the way that they're saying. Mostly in PvP situations, for when someone wants a hard-hitting weapon that they can potentially use to KO with. The Elder Wand is the second Elder Weapon. It will be slightly better than a Master Wand, and seeing as it requires a Master Wand to be created, that makes sense. It will also provide 15% chance of negating rune costs when using a spell, it will act as a water staff, and it will be able to autocast ancient magics, which I think sounds rather powerful. Think about spells such as Ice Barrage. They require water, deaths and bloods. If you take away the water cost, then it's just deaths and bloods, and with a 15% chance of negating a rune cost, if my maths is correct, every time you cast you've got a chance of saving one rune, which to me seems a bit too much. Next, we're back to the Kodai Robes. The Kodai Robes can be compared to the Aram's Robes. However, from the previous developer blog, many people were worried about the impact it will have on Arams. As a result of this, they've stripped all the defensive bonuses off the Kodai Robes, making it purely for offense. So if you want to have some good magic gear that you can tank a little bit in, you'll want to get Arams, and if you want some good magic gear to just do lots of damage, you'll want to get Kodai. Next, we're looking at the Dragon Platebody. The main difference between the Dragon Platebody in this developer blog and the Dragon Platebody in the last developer blog is the fact that the Dragon Platebody will be created by using drops from raids with a Dragon Chain Body. So you'll be able to build up the Dragon Platebody around the Dragon Chain Body, keeping the value of the Dragon Chain Body quite high, and probably potentially increasing it, and depending on how many parts you've got to put on the Dragon Chain Body, it's somewhat of a throwback to the way that you had to create Dragon Platebody from Dragon Lumps in RuneScape 3. The next raid reward is the Dragon Sword, which I don't believe they've actually updated since the last developer blog. Obviously it will require level 60 attack to equip, and if you want to compare it to a weapon in game right now, I'd say imagine the Dragon Scimitar but for attack as opposed to strength. Along with that, the special attack of the Dragon Sword will have kind of two effects. If your target is protecting from melee, then the special attack will just ignore that for one attack and you'll be able to do a regular hit. If they're not ignoring melee, you'll have a 25% increased accuracy and damage with your next hit. This special attack will cost you 40% special attack energy, so you'll be able to do two in relatively quick succession, and potentially another one if the fight goes on a bit longer. Next, the Dragon Throwing Axes. Dragon Throwing Axes will require about level 60 range, and will provide a plus 32 range attack and strength stat. The special attack of the axe will freeze your target for 5 seconds if damage is dealt, costing 30% special attack energy, which means you can do 3 in relatively quick succession, and if your fight takes a long time, you can do a 4th, making it the first old school RuneScape range weapon that can freeze a target effectively. Next, we've got the Forgotten Prayers. These 6 prayers haven't changed since the last developer blog. We'll quickly go through those. At level 55 prayer, you'll be able to get Preserve, which will make boosted stats last 20% longer. At level 65, you'll get Potion Absorb, which will drain your prayer points instead of your health if you're poisoned. At level 74, you'll get Augury, which will boost your magic accuracy and defense by 25%. At level 75, you'll get Divine Grace, which will drain your prayer instead of your run energy when running. At level 77, there'll be Rigor, which will boost your range attack by 20%, range strength by 23%, and defense by 25%. And at level 85, there'll be Venom Absorb, which will drain your prayer points instead of your hit points when you have got Venom affecting you. 6 very interesting prayers. Augury and Rigor are quite nice to have in game. It's kind of like the mage and range version of Piety. Preserve sounds quite interesting, however I'm a little bit unsure how much I'd actually use it in game. Divine Grace sounds quite powerful, because obviously you don't have to have a decent agility level to get around now. All you need is good prayer, and seeing as you can restore your prayer at an altar, which there are various of them around RuneScape, then running will become a lot easier. However, having a high prayer level required for it might justify adding it to the game. And lastly, Poison and Venom Absorb. These sound like okay ideas. However, again, I can't really see a lot of situations where people will need this. If you're getting poisoned or venomed, then surely you're going to have an anti-poison or anti-venom on you. If not, I'm sure it's easy to teleport back, bank, and sort it out. The final thing in this developer blog is the Insignias. In the previous developer blog, they suggested, I think it was 6 signatures which go in your range slot and will provide certain benefits in the combat skills and special attack. Whilst it was a very interesting idea, I think many players felt like this was practically old school auras and they didn't want them added to the game. So they decided to remove them for now. However, I would not be surprised if we saw something very similar in a developer blog for potentially some kind of reward system soon. If you've got any ideas, feedback or suggestions about raid rewards, let the Old School RuneScape team know by going on the forums, Twitter, Reddit, all the places you can contact the Old School RuneScape team. If you want to discuss any of the rewards they've suggested in this developer blog, please do so on the forums or in my comments below. If you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape update, please click here for the Treasure Trail expansion. And if you're interested in what's happening this month in Old School RuneScape, please click here for July, the month ahead. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share. And if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, DevBlogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.